Well, I've put up metal walls and I'm doing a test burn. I've got bricks down. I'm going to fill the whole floor with bricks. Now I'm doing just a little gentle burn here just to see what happens. Just a little test burn. And I've got all the pipes in as I had showed you before. All I did was line the walls with metal for now. It is pretty warm over here, but I can hold my hand on the walls next to the wood stove, right next to the stove, without discomfort. But I do have a very slow burn. Now it's going to roar up when I open this and show you, but see, it's a very gentle burn. I'm being very careful, and I actually like the fact that this is sealed up very tight. There's no air leaks around the seams of this thing, and I'm going to have to open up the damper later, on the bottom here, the airflow in, to allow more air to get better burns in the future. But right now, honestly, with the stove shut and the stove door shut and the damper I haven't even attached yet, it's just sitting here in the ground, the stove is burning nice and gentle, and it's not glowing hot, which I don't want it to glow, and the walls are not hot at all, and I have a fan up here blowing warmth into my bedroom, right into the window, which is open right here. You can see the glass right there. So let's go in and have a look at the temperatures indoors and see what we're looking at right now. Alright, we've got an outdoor temperature of 52 degrees, an indoor temperature of 62 degrees in the living room, and the outdoors is 52 in the meadow, 62 in the living room. We'll come over here, and we have 61 in the bedroom and almost 61 on the porch. So right now I'm about 10 degrees warmer than outdoors, with just a really slow, gentle burn. And again, I'm just being very careful, very, very slow burn to test this stove. But the porch, the porch, that's right by the front door of my RV. So all the way on the other side of the RV is the measurement on the right, 60.5. And the one on the left, 61.9. That's the bedroom temperature. So I'm just going to be careful and experiment tonight. I will not burn all night. It's actually going to take me a few nights before I feel safe to even try that. But here you have the window open and the fan blowing warm air inside the RV. Of course, it's wide open to the rest of the porch here, so the wood stove is also heating the porch. And eventually I'll close that off, of course, and get better heating in here. But I just want to be careful before I even try to close it off. I want to be very, very careful with what I'm doing here. And then eventually, of course, I can box that fan in so it's blowing straight into here from the stove room. Well, 37 degrees this morning outside, 47 in. Humidity is nearly 100% in and out. Pretty cold. I still don't have my wood stove going yet. Still got some, I got to insulate the shed. I've got to close these walls off, close the gaps off. I did do that test burn the other day. Had some warmth. Limited to very, very little warmth because of all the openings. So I really have to get this closed off. Get that fan sealed so the only opening to the window is the fan blowing hot air in, because I also had cold air coming around the edges. It was a test. It was just a dry run, but it shows me that I can burn a wood stove on a lower setting. It is horribly cold today, and I'm experimenting. Got the fan on, blowing heat into the RV. I seriously, as I said before, I have to seal this all up. But again, this is a test burn, so I didn't want to insulate this until I know what's going on. Now, one thing I'm noticing, I'm having a hard time in this small space. See, I'm using big logs. I'm having a hard time keeping the fire burning properly. Also, though, because I'm trying to keep a small fire for safety purposes. So I continuously have to come out here and stoke the fire and to try to keep it burning. And I do need to drill these holes out bigger. so I can control the fire here rather than with the door. It is a very tight seal, and so I actually leave the door unlatched a little or it goes out. So that's one of my projects to do pretty soon here, and finish laying the bricks all the way around. Now the bricks are just to help. Actually, the bricks are cold because I laid sand. Yeah, the bricks are not even warm to the touch at all because I laid sand in the bottom here of the stove. Well, you can't see it's full of ash, but there's sand under here, and then a cast iron grate. So the bottom of the stove is actually cold. I can probably put my hand on it. Yeah, I can touch the stove. So that worked out. And I may put fire bricks on the sides, but the only problem with that is it'll make it really tough to clean the ashes out, because when I want to clean the ash, I'll have to remove all the fire bricks, remove the grate, clean the ash out. That's one disadvantage with a barrel stove, unless I burn directly on the sand, but then no air can get under the wood and I'll have troubles keeping it burning. So yeah, it's in the testing stages. I'm learning how to work it, learning the safe fuel levels, learning how to control the airflow, and when I'm comfortable and I know that I'm not going to burn this place down, like that's pretty hot to touch right now. I can hold my hand on it, but it's hot. It's uncomfortably hot. And so I'm probably going to put a heat shield here, spaced an inch or two apart from there, another piece of metal, heat shield, and you know, spaced from the ground a couple inches, and then what'll happen is air will just flow, cooling the back wall just from natural convection, and then I'll be able to insulate this up better. So I've got a lot of work to do before I'm ready, but you know, at least I have some limited amount of heat, and I can sit here on the porch and warm my hands by the fire. I might just run some power through here through the side access panel, and set up my laptop and my workstation right here next to the wood stove until I get the inside of the RV heated. I'd like to introduce my friend Chris. Morning. He just moved in here. He's got the camper to himself as his new home for now. A new member of my church, and he's going to stay here, and we just got him out of the city so he can come out here and experience the country life. What do you think? What do you think of the country?
It's different.
Different. It's cold, right?
Different.
So anyway, this is Chris's new home for now until he gets a new job, an apartment up here, and then he's going to be closer to us. We can well, pretty much take care of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Help you get back on your feet and get a new start.
Yep.
But this is a serious contrast to Newburgh, isn't it?
Newburgh, New York City, whatever, anything with buildings in it.
Yeah.
This is totally different.
There's nothing out here, is there?
Nothing, man. Nothing.
Hey, there's a lot of people that think that I'm lying about where I live. They think I'm in somebody's backyard. What do you think?
No, nobody.
This is out here. Well, anyway, welcome to my little homestead, and just want to introduce you because I know people are going to see you around and wonder who's that guy running around in the forest. So, alright. Well, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and I took Chris into town to go look for work a little while ago. I just got back. I still have the wood stove going because it's still quite chilly out. I mean, relatively, after being cold all night. I've got 62 in the bedroom, 70 on the porch. Now, that's nice because the sun is shining in the porch, which is also helping. The wood stove is burning very, very slow, so it's not contributing much heat at all. I'm still learning how to use the wood stove, so I'm being very careful and sparing with the wood in there. But so we've got 62 in the bedroom, 70 on the porch. We've got 70 in the living room and 60 outdoors. It's rising, and fortunately the humidity is down to 44% inside now, which is nice. Once the sun hits the roof of this RV, which it is nice out today, sunny-wise, it burns off the humidity. And that's what I've learned, that with a camper or RV, you want to have some limited amount of sun in the day. You don't want sun all day or it becomes an oven, but you want some sun to burn off the humidity each day, and that will prevent the stink that you get from mildew. And that's what happened with my camper. It was hot in the summer, I had it under the shade, and I cannot win the battle against the mildew. So living in an RV or camper, you want a couple hours of sun each day, and it's going to save your home. So there's a little bit of fire in there. Just doing my slow little burn. Just getting used to how this works. I had to put more twigs in. It is hard to keep a log going in here without burning it too hot. But again, I have to learn how to use this stove. Every stove has its own character, and there's a learning curve. I'm sure there's people going to argue with me, but in my experience, there's a learning curve to learn how to properly and safely use a new wood stove, and how to learn how to control the burn for the most heat or the longest burn time for a certain amount of wood. So because you can overfill a wood stove and burn it up. You can cause a fire if you're not careful, especially a small one like this made of a barrel and in a small room like this. So you just gotta be careful and learn the characteristics of the stove. Hi, this is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Enjoying the warmth of my porch. It's actually more comfortable here than inside by far. I've got the sun shining on me, I've got the wood stove behind me. I have a feeling I might spend a lot of time on this porch this winter. It's going to be a very comfortable place with nice views of the outside. The snow can be quite pretty in the country in winter. I've got I don't know if you can see it in the camera angle, I've got black plastic sheeting leaning up against the back side of the RV here. It is getting heated. It is providing warmth inside here. Actually, my back is burning from the heat of the wood stove right now, which I think is burning quite well. Just like to recap a little bit about the survival outing that my friend Eric and I had. I think there were a lot of misunderstandings about the intentions of the trip and the goals. I should have been clear about that from the beginning. The idea was for me to go out and help my friend, help figure out what materials were needed before beginning to build a cottage. And that was what the first day was. The only intentions of the first day were to find out what materials, what's the cost involved, and what it's going to take to build this home in the woods. Ended up being quite expensive, and you know, I'm not an expert craftsman. You can see that by looking around me, but I get the job done, and my friend Eric trusted me, so I gave my advice and my opinions based on what I've learned from you guys particularly, and from my own building experience. Wouldn't say it was going to be 100% perfect, but I can get the job done. Anyway, that was the goal on day one, to find out what materials were needed. His tools were all stolen previously, so he had nothing. So I took all my construction tools to build a stick home. That was the plans. Based on prices, that wasn't going to happen, so Eric bought an axe. Decided plan B, chop down some trees. Well, I've never cut a tree in my life. I've always cut dead wood, so I backed off. Yeah, I thought it was humorous, him chopping a tree. I was laughing at him, he was laughing at me. We had a lot of fun. We're friends. Friends laugh together. He's a city boy, and I thought it was funny watching him with an axe. Some people are mad at me for laughing at my friend. Well, you know, it's friends. Friends have fun. We had a good time. I think we both had a very good time. Amazing thing about our friendship is we really truly get along, and we don't let obstacles interfere. We don't let anything stop or slow us down. Plan B? We'll cut some trees and build a log cabin. Well, anyway, that didn't go so well. And so Eric, I gave him some ideas about we could do this, or we could do this, or we could do this, and he was chopping on some trees while he thought, exercising his muscles. I did some survival experiments, which was part of the deal. That was part of my intentions, to show you guys some survival projects, and hopefully some people learned some things. I know I did. I learned keep your food rotated, which I knew, but this was in my pantry, in my camper. This was food I had put aside for my meals, and the moths got in and ate it and ruined my food. So it's a good thing to learn, and hands-on experience, that in a survival situation, some of the food that you thought was going to be edible is going to be bad. Funny thing is, me, so-called survivor man and prepper, left all my knives behind. My big, hefty survival knives. I had intentions of making some new survival kits in that Harbor Freight survival knife, and from the survival camper to my truck, it didn't make it into the truck. I don't know why. Again, good learning experience. While you're packing your gear, pay attention to detail. You probably will forget things. Training. The military teaches, they drill stuff into you. It's called drills for a reason. You drill and train something again and again and again until you don't think about it. It becomes an automatic programmed experience in your body. So it's good to practice and drill a bug out scenario. Even if you do just tornado drills in your house with your kids and wife or whatever, plan and prepare for emergencies. Have it drilled into you, so if something ever happened, you react rather than having the necessity of thinking and working things out in your head. Some things went wrong, some things went well, but I'd call it a success overall, because I learned a lot for next time. So I hope you did too, and I hope you enjoyed the weekend. Now, back to the homestead, back to work. It's getting cold, so gotta get this place ready. Got an envelope in the mail. This is from Silicon Solar. We have here a solar light with charger. So it's a solar LED light with a charger. Soft LED lighting, good for your eyes. Charge iPhone, iPods, mobile phone, digital camera, GPS. Oh, GPS too. Nice. Let's see here. We've got a oh, look at that. This thing is sensitive. The light is kicking on already just here inside my porch. We've got some USB cables. Got some accessory adapters for hopefully all possible cell phone types. Yep, there we have it. So, Silicon Solar. Let me see, where's the LED light? Oh, this must be the light. How interesting. Well, I have to check the instructions here. Well, thank you, Silicon Solar. I'll definitely be putting this to good use, living out here in the middle of the meadow. See, we've got a 3.7 watt hour lithium ion battery. Well, I'll check this out, read the instructions, and give it a try here. Now, this is impressive. I have to admit, I was incredibly doubtful that such a little solar panel is going to charge my phone, because my phone eats power. If you can see this in the outside, it says charging. Let me see if I can focus on this. It says charging 60% right here. I am impressed and absolutely surprised. This phone is a nightmare to charge, and it eats power like mad. I am incredibly surprised. So, alright, thumbs up for silicon solar battery charger here with the LED light. I'll let this stay out all day, or what's left of the day I should say. I think what I'll do is I'll put this in the dash of my truck so the phone itself is not in the sunlight. But, or at least like this, huh? Anyway, there we have it. Serious surprise. Well, I'll give it a workout. Thank you guys. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon, and my stove is still kicking out some heat. I cannot believe this thing is still radiating heat. I haven't put fire in since sometime this morning. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. This thing is still glowing. See if I focus. There's glowing embers on that wood. So, seriously, I'm quite impressed with this barrel stove. It's, I think it's going to work out alright for me. So, now, I've got to get materials and insulate this shed. I have some pink insulation. I think I'm going to stuff up in the corners of the rafters, at least for today. I don't like pink insulation because of the mice. Because the mice like pink insulation, but I'm going to stuff it up in the corners here for now at least. And I'm really considering about stuffing it in there in these gaps along the sides. Although, I really don't want to attract mice. I really don't. But, I can always come back to sealing this porch off later. This is a lower priority. Although when the sun shines on my black plastic sheeting, I've just sort of stuffed it in here. It is heating up the side of the RV nicely. So it is serving its purpose a little bit as far as a solar porch. This is working. So I have to get it sealed off along the edges, along the sides, put something against the RV. But again, I don't want this attached. I want nothing screwed or attached to the RV. So I'm trying to come up with something to seal these gaps without putting any pressure on the RV itself. Anyway, I'll keep thinking about that, but I think right now I'm going to close this door off and try to find some metal to put along here, because it's going to serve its purpose. It's going to work, but I absolutely have to have a standoff sheet of metal against here to prevent overheating of the walls before I can really close this room. So I think that's what I'm going to do right now. Hopefully I've got a piece that'll fit up there in the ceiling. Try my brad nailer function of the stapler now for the first time ever. Pretty convenient. I like it. Never used a brad nailer before. Actually, I never had one to try. Very nice. Now I have to frame the door in here. I'm going to build a doorway to close this off. Little wood stove is going to be isolated all alone in there now. Pretty soon. Alright, I'm being creative on the heat shielding for my shed, for my fireplace shed. I'm just using recycled materials. That's going to be the back wall. I'll show you how I'll do that in a minute here. Now, a proper heat shield is supposed to stand off from the wall 1 inch or so away from the wall, and then separated by non-flammable metal or material, and have at least 1 inch gap on the floor and between the walls, so cool air can go underneath and behind the wall and up and cool it as it goes. So that's what I'm about to do with this piece of sheet metal laying over here. It's going to go along the back wall at about the height of the wood stove and just off the floor a bit to take the brunt of the heat and help cool that wall as the heat radiates out of that wood stove. And I'm going to use screws drilled straight into the outside, the back wall, the inside wall, it would now be the inside wall, as standoff material, and then screws drilled through the outside sheet and through the inside sheet to hold it in place. So hopefully that'll all be obvious in a minute here. Due to pressure from time and lack of materials and finances, I have given up on the other idea, and I have gone with a very, very simple idea. I took a piece of sheet metal and bent it, put it around the corner, put it up on blocks. There's airflow, plenty of airflow in between. It's going to prevent the wall from being overheated. There's a massive amount of space between the wood stove and the wall. Should be good. That metal is going to get really hot, but no worse than the barrel itself, and should be fine. I have to still prop this side up. Another reason I sort of abandoned this is this side is going to have the access panel to the inside of the RV, so I have to figure out how to do that yet. And I don't want to make anything permanent on this wall, so I have to go out and get some more cement blocks and prop this one up, this piece of metal for now, just as a heat shield, and then I'll do another test burn after it cools off a bit longer, or a bit more. Today was 65 degrees out, so it wasn't too bad. Another experiment, I put some standard bricks in here. They may break from the heat. I don't know what kind of bricks these are, but I have a pile of them out in the forest, so I'm not going to cry if that happens. I put a couple across the side walls here to keep the wood in the middle, keep it from falling off against the sides, help absorb some heat, radiate it back later, and protect the walls of the wood stove. So I think actually I'm going to put some bricks all the way in the back, along the back wall as well. Straight across. I might be able to fit 2 bricks. Maybe not. I might have to do some brick cutting. But anyway, the idea is to try to prolong the life of this thing. I also put on the damper finally here, the air intake here, and drilled out the holes bigger and better. So I will get more airflow, and I have much more control over my fire now. So tonight I will see. In a couple hours it'll start cooling down, and I'll be firing this thing up and see what happens. But again, I won't be using this overnight yet for a while until I finish test burning, and I know how safe this is going to be. I just wouldn't trust it yet. But I'm getting there. Now I have that side hole fixed. I put 2x4s up in the rafters. It's not airtight yet. I still have to screw down the metal to the 2x4s, but that has closed that gap. I still got some gaps along here a little bit, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to seal off this side wall. But I think for now I'm just going to put a metal sheet right across there, closing this hole off completely to the outside world, having only this opening for air to blow into the RV. I want to build a frame, a shelf here to set the fan on, closing off everything under it and above. Actually, the fan will go about this height. Closing off from above and below, and just having the fan opening. Actually, I want the fan up to near the top, as high as it can get it, to get the maximum heat. But then I'll close off the rest of that area so that the air is concentrated right from the fan straight into the RV, and close this piece off. So I'll probably do that yet now. I will not have enough daylight to get this door on yet tonight, unfortunately, but it sure looks good. It's looking really nice, honestly, I think. I'll get it. Eventually it's going to be done. The door itself is going to be metal lined on the inside, and have a standoff of protective sheet metal just like that there. So, a lot of work, but I'm getting it. Getting dark, but I'm still working. I've got this whole wall done. I'm just folding over pieces instead of cutting it out. It's easier. And I've got the hole for my fan to go into my window. And now I'm going to put foam insulation along these edges, so the only airflow is going to be in through that window into the RV. You can see inside my bedroom there. So this will all be foamed off now in a few minutes, and then that'll restrict the airflow completely. Now my biggest concern here is I have to restrict airflow from here also, from underneath the walls, and prevent the cold air from getting into my window as well. So I'll be figuring that out too in a few minutes here. Well, it's pitch black, but I've got all the walls in, I've got the fan in, I've got the foam insulation around the window. It's sealed in completely all the way around, top, bottom, and sides, around the fan, so only the heated air from in here can go through. Getting too dark to work. It's getting pretty cold actually, so I'm going to call it a night, and that's it for another day. They go fast.